Oh, okay. Except for these one little guy down here in 91, all the warmest years in Louisville have been after 2010. Now let's talk about rainfall. All the climate models show that in our area, the rainfall is going to increase. Our annual rainfall is going to increase. But that's not necessarily a good thing because you can look at this map, and this is a map showing the climate models in 2050, and you can see all of them are above normal of what we are right now. The wide range is the variability between all the different climate models. There is a wide variability, but you can see as a whole in these darker lines, those are the averages. But you can see in the wintertime, we're going to get more rain than we have, but in the summertime, we're going to get less rain. So we're going to get less rain when we want it. So, and another thing too is warmer air holds more moisture, which leads to more intense rainfall. So what the models are indicating is that we are going to have heavy rainfall events separated by prolonged droughts. And during those droughts, of course, we're going to have higher temperatures and more stress on the plants. So we may not be able to be as casual on watering our gardens as we have in the past. So all you snowbirds out there, you can definitely see that this is Vanderburgh County. They didn't have any data for Clark County, but you can see that the snow days are going down. You can also see that the average annual precipitation in our area, again, they stop at 2016, but that has gone up quite a bit, between 6 and 7 inches. And then my comment about extreme precipitation events. So this is the number of days, and you can see in the 1900s, we on average had about 1, but now up to, unfortunately, I got to move this just a little bit out of the way there. Okay. You can see that we're up to 3. So again, more rainfall coming in more intense events with longer days of drought, longer periods of drought. Okay, so what does this mean? This I found was a pretty interesting map. So right now in the summer, the climate models are indicating that our weather is going to be similar to what you would see either in Western Tennessee or Arkansas. Okay. The winter, we're going to be more like the East Coast. You can see almost all the models put us around, Delaware, New Jersey, Maryland, that sort of thing. So we are probably going to have to adjust the way that we do gardening. One of the things that's going to happen is some of the trees will not fare as well. And this was a chart that came from the trees in our area, the Southern Hills. And I want to point out the sugar maple. There's a lot of concern about the sugar maple is not going to fare well in a warmer climate. Sugar maples need a certain amount of days of really cold air to get them to go through their cycle. Blueberries are the same way too. So um, we may not have, I don't know what happened there. We may not have the maple syrup may be a problem. Of course, we have a few sugar houses in this area. So now notice we don't see any changes with the red maple, the river birch, the white ash, other than it's getting eaten by the stupid emerald ash borer, the white oak, which of course is a very important tree, and plums. And actually, the warmer climate is going to help these other trees, sweet gums, sycamores, silver maples, and so on and so forth. So here are the issues. Higher average temperatures and shifting precipitation patterns are causing the plants to bloom earlier. I actually went out today and actually saw some evidence of that. And it's going to make our growing season a little more unpredictable than it has been in the past. Another problem is the invasive non-native plants are going to be expanding their ranges and they're becoming north. And because the plants that are here are not going to be used to this warmer, wetter climate, they're going to be weakened. And so the non-natives might actually outcompete the natives. And a classic example is kudzu. It's moving north. Garlic mustard, purple loosestrife, and then I threw these in here too. Fire ants. Fire ants are moving north, and armadillos. I'm not sure if armadillos are a problem, but they are moving north as well. So it could be that some of the native and the plants that we're used to may not be able to. Sorry, my daughter keeps calling now. Keep telling her. Anyway, I'm sorry. The native plants that we're used to may not be able to survive in some portions of their historic range. Also, the connections we've learned about between pollinators, breeding birds, insects, wildlife, and the plants they depend on, all that is going to be disrupted. So things we need to watch out for. So those are the issues. Now, what can we do about it? Well, we can do a few things to make things a little easier for our gardening purposes, some mitigation strategies. And the most important thing, of course, is good soil health. This is going to sound like a review from your Master Gardener class, but good soil health is the key. So you want to add as much organic matter as you possibly can. Most of you have already done this. Some of this is going to be old hat to you. But a compost pile, kitchen scraps, grass clippings, leaves, not bagging your grass clippings, not bagging your leaves. That's free compost, using it. We had a couple of months ago that guy who gave the cover crop talk. I thought that was very interesting. He handed out things of peas and what was it, peas and beans or something like that. Anyway, plant a cover crop that will add organic matter into your soil. After you've got your beds planted, mulch them. And most people mulch their landscape beds, but a lot of times the gardeners forget to mulch their gardening beds. And so mulch works just as well in both places. And so it retains moisture and reduces weeds. This is something that the old timers don't like to hear, but minimize tilling. Again, the cover crop guy, the soil guy, he said tilling actually destroys the soil structure. So you should try to minimize disturbing that soil as much as possible. In fact, if you remember, he said rather than pull up your tomato plants, just clip them off at the ground. The roots of the dead tomato plants still have those nitrogen modules, and those nitrogen will go back into the soil. And of course, test your soil, and check the pH regularly. Things can change. I'll be honest, I'm not the best at doing this. I use raised beds for the most part, but I probably should test my soil more often than what I do. Okay, rainfall. And this is something I did with my raised beds is I installed soaker hoses, or if you got a little more money, you can install a drip irrigation system. And this is really important for tomato because when you water a tomato plant using a hose or a sprinkler, you can actually splash up the fungus that's in the soil and actually transfer that to your tomato plant. And so if you use the drip and the soaker hoses, that really eliminates that problem. And it's a very efficient way of watering your garden. You don't use as much water. Another thing, if you haven't thought about, is using a timer. A lot of times we'll turn the water on and we'll walk off and we'll forget it. But you can buy these cheap timers, or you can actually get flow meters as well. And this prevents overwatering. The rule of thumb is to water deeply, but less frequently. And you want to try to get down about an inch of water a week. That's kind of the rule of thumb. Okay. Now, some people like to collect rainwater with barrels and cisterns. And I'm a little bit hesitant about this because I have asphalt shingles and I know asphalt breaks down, and I'm worried about using this water on food crops. And it's probably fine for like watering your yard or your landscape or something like that. But that's just something to keep in the back of your mind. And of course, when you plant something that's a young plant or a transplant, you want to make sure that you water that more than once a week, until the plant gets established. And it's also a good idea to water in the morning to reduce the evaporation. Watering in the hot afternoon, again, you're going to be wasting a lot of water. One thing we can do is pick plants that can handle climate change. Some plants are better at handling heat and drought. Some plants are better at handling wetter conditions. Some plants can actually handle adjusted growing seasons. So, of course, you always want to look for native perennials and shrubs and ornamental grasses, but you can start looking for the heat-tolerant varieties of vegetables that they're starting to come out with. Now, here's a picture of one of my raised beds, and I'm a big raised bed guy. And you can't see the soaker hoses because they're just underneath the surface of the soil. But raised beds improve drainage. You cannot overwater a raised bed. And if you have clay soil like I have in my backyard, I could make pots with my soil. Raised beds are the way to go. This is something to think about during a heat wave. If you have young plants out there, use some shade cloth to kind of protect them. If you have plants that are susceptible to sun scorch, you can use windbreaks. And of course, I already talked about that. It's always good to mulch around the plant bases. You don't want to mulch right up to the plant, just right around it. And some things we can do is use row covers, cold frames, and tunnels to extend the growing season. So I just took a couple shots here of some things you can buy. The one over to the left, that is a cold frame. And then here you can see the tunnel with the plastic. Some people don't like to use plastic. This is kind of an interesting thing. This kind of protects to the right, the red thing. It kind of protects your tomato plants or whatever you may have in there. The interesting about it is if it does the water in there, if that freezes, it will actually release more energy and keep the plant healthier than if it was just wasn't surrounded by water. And here's lightweight down below, lightweight covers that can help shade the plant and also deal with insects. Here's something I'd never seen before. It was kind of to the middle down. It's kind of like a teepee. You stick a smaller plant in there. And of course, frost shields. I think one of the biggest problems we're going to have to deal with is if we have a warm up, say in March or maybe even early April, but then we have cold weather. We may actually have our landscapes and our plants further along than they normally would. And so I think that's going to be our biggest problem, is protecting these things from a late frost, especially if you grow fruit. Like I have some blueberry plants, and I have some cherry bushes that quite often I will lose them due to a late frost. So we'll end with the last thing here, of course, disease and pest adaptation. And of course, use integrated pest management. Again, that was drilled into us in our master gardening classes. Encourage beneficial insects. Do what you can to bring in the right type of habitat to promote these types of insects. And it's also good to rotate your crops because if you plant the same thing in the same spot year after year, then you are going to introduce the possibility of disease. So one of the things you can do for supporting the pollinators is plant a series of blooming plants. And I put a little chart here over to the right. These are Indiana native blooming plants, wildflowers, that you can see do all kinds of supporting of all kinds of pollinators. And notice that they bloom at different times. And so what you want to do is line up a whole series so you have bloomers in the spring, bloomers in the summer, and bloomers in the fall. Of course, you want to limit pesticide use whenever possible. And if you've got room for some native flowering perennials, that's always nice too. So here's something we can do. A lot of people say, climate change, it's responsibility of the governments to deal with. And I disagree with that. I think that's something that we can all do. So improve your personal energy efficiency. If you can, switch to electric or manually powered yard tools. You won't believe how inefficient a gas lawnmower is. It's one of the worst things you can do to release all kinds of pollutants. I switched to an electric motor 2 years ago, and I absolutely love it. And I have 1/3 of an acre that I have to mow some slopes, and it's self-propelled, and it works great. And I can get my whole yard done and use a battery and a half. And I have 2 batteries in there, so it's no big deal. You want to try to remove all the invasive plants from your garden if you can, and replace them with native alternatives. And of course, the best thing you can do is plant a tree. Trees, of course, absorb carbon dioxide and support local ecosystems. And this is kind of a funny thing. I just kind of ran across it. You can jump through some hoops, and you can create what's called a certified wildlife habitat using the National Wildlife Federation guides. And I want to end with this book. I don't know, most of you guys probably know about this book. If you don't, run out and buy it. It is an excellent book, and it talks about things, again, that we can do to improve the conservation. the author says what we can do is we can create a national park that is in everybody's backyard, and that can replace the habitat that we're losing. Again, if you haven't read this book, it's a great book. So here are the sources. I'll post those up on the web so you can look at them. There's all kinds of other places as well. So I did misspell weather down there. That should be weather.gov/LMK. That's where I get the local climate information. And I think I ended up perfectly. So I'm ready for questions.
Okay, Mike, thank you. It was great. I have to offer you an apology because I failed to get the recording going properly, but we got most 95 or above percentage of your talk recorded.
That's okay. I don't think you missed anything super important.
So I apologize for that. And Jeanette asked is it safe to use rainwater collected from metal roofs on edible plants? I gave her my opinion, but I'll let you answer that.
Well, see, that's the question. I think that one is okay because most metal roofs are sealed pretty tightly, and they're usually what's called powder coated, and really don't break down. Do you agree with that?
Unfortunately, not. I disagree with it because of animal excrement on your roof.
That is a good
The
point.
USDA recommends, the USDA recommends not using it for edibles because of that issue.
Okay, so
I know a lot of birds, et cetera, and squirrels and stuff hang out on my roof. So
that is a good point. Yeah, I don't have a metal roof; I have an asphalt roof.
yeah,
So
my rule of thumb.
I guess
My rule of thumb when I teach the vegetable course is to say, if you wouldn't drink it, don't use it on your edibles.
Yeah, and that's a great way of putting it. Yeah, if you're not going to drink that stuff that comes off the roof, then yeah, you probably don't want to put it in your plants. That's a good rule of thumb.
To me, that's the easiest way to think about anything you put in your garden. If you don't want a vegetable garden, if you don't want to consume it, don't put it on your vegetable garden.
Yeah, that's a good point. When you actually choose the material for your raised beds, you want to make sure that you use either cedar or redwood, or maybe some galvanized steel, but nothing that's going to break down or rust or have chemicals in it. Like you would never use pressure treated lumber.
Right. And then we've had one other question. Veronica asked, is the wildflower blooming chart available? And if so, where?
Yeah, that's available. It's you actually can see the thing right there at the top. extension.entm.purdue.edu publications, and it's
Can you copy and paste that into the chat?
Yeah, I'll try. I'm going to have to type it. I can't copy it, but I can type it here. Let me.
And if that doesn't work, Mike, you can send it to me and I'll get it out to everybody tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm going to put all these slides up on the web page. I've set up a way of putting handouts. Let me click on this. Okay, I can't get to the chat. Oh, here we go. Okay, here we go. So yeah, let's see here. Extension .em Purdue slash it could be.
There you go. Kara put it in. It's from POL 6. You can download that from the education store for free.
And Don, you don't get extra credit. Nope.
Yeah, and if any of you work for Pollinator Day, you've probably received that in one of the emails from me.
I might as well finish it up since I started typing it. Yeah, Pulse 6. I guess that means something.
Yeah, it's already in the.
Okay. Well, the Okay, will the higher rainfall increase humidity and cause problems in the mulch? Will this change the recommended thickness of mulch? I haven't seen anything like that. I don't think it's going to because uh, mulch mulch doesn't really hold water. What it does is it prevents evaporation. And so the water will just soak up into the ground uh, for the most part. But again, it really depends on your soil. If you have clay soil, then yeah, that could be a problem. And you may actually want to reduce the amount of mulch. Um, but most of the time they say like 1 or 2 inches, no more than that. No mulch mountains. That used to get people really angry when they saw that. For some reason, commercial landscapers still do that, though. I don't know why.
Because they get paid by how much mulch they lay down.
And it's easier to put it down that way, huh?
Yeah. Jennifer, above that, Jennifer asked, what do you recommend for garden mulch?
Oh man, that's a whole nother thing. You know, this year I actually experimented with pine needles. I was very happy with it. Um, Pine fines are supposedly is the best mulch you can get, but it's hard to find. Um, and then you can also use the shredded wood. And some people say don't use the colorized version. Um, I'm not going to get into that argument. They claim that the dye they use is safe. I don't know. But the pine needles worked out really well and it was real easy to put down and a whole lot cheaper.
Okay, if anybody else has questions, now's your time to put it into the chat.
Okay,
All right, thanks a bunch, Mike.
you're welcome.
We're getting lots of thank yous in the chat. Will you stop sharing your
Yes,
presentation
I'll
for?
be happy to.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Mike. That was awesome. I'm always amazed at how much information our current members have. So thank you for sharing your knowledge with us. I'm sure this is information that everyone's going to find useful. And like Mike said, he's going to put this presentation, you're going to put the whole presentation up on the website.
Yep.
So it'll be available to whoever, if you haven't had a chance to write down the link or anything like that, he'll have it up on the website for everybody. Thank you again, Mike. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
And get to feeling better.
It's funny is I don't really feel bad. I'm just running a fever. It's the weirdest thing. I have no other symptoms other than a fever. It's weird.
Yeah, well, feel better. Make sure you're resting and you get better.
Yeah, I'm doing resting and I'm also drinking lots of fluids, all the good stuff.
All the good stuff. That's good to hear. Thank you again. Okay, so at this time, we'll go ahead and start our business meeting. I'm calling the business meeting to order. Veronica, I wasn't sure if I was going to put you on here or not in regards to the minutes submitted for approval so we could vote. Veronica?
I had to unmute.
You understand.
I don't, I mean, I could do that just as well for Debbie since this is Debbie's initial meeting, but yeah, the minutes were publicized. Of course, the minutes were really only for the holiday dinner.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, so I
Yeah.
guess we really don't have any to approve. Okay, yes, thank
Don't we
you.
need to approve the November meeting minutes since we didn't have a business meeting in December?
Oh, yeah, there you go. And those are the ones.
Thank you, Lisa. All
You're
right,
welcome.
so those were published, I guess, in some time ago. I guess in December, November. newsletter. So I've not received any comments from folks or emails. Typically folks will tell me, but if you all do not have any issues with it, I entertain a motion to accept those.
I'll accept him.
A second.
I'll second.
Thank you. All right, I would, I don't think we really need to vote, but just show, if there's no other comments,
Thumbs up.
that they're approved.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs
Yeah.
up.
Oh, now I got to figure out how to do that.
There it is. Somebody's doing it. React.
I'd
I
say
think
we
it's
have
React.
approval.
Okay, good. Thank you. Okay.
Just FYI, when you have to vote, it's called React. Mine's right next to my chat button. And you can select your reaction.
I know mine, I have to hit more and then I can see it.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Veronica.
Okay, give me 1 second to get the,
To get Mike's reports up.
yeah.
It's funny, you see all these thumbs up floating. Okay, Mike, you're next. You ready?
Okay, I got the floor, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
do I
sir.
have the right one up, Mike?
You got it,
Here
perfect.
you go.
Okay, this is our December report, the final one for the year. So we started out with $28,800, and then for all of our receipts, scroll down, it's a couple rows there. Perfect. Okay, basically we got some more dues and newsletter and some late fees for dues. So that totaled about $870. We had interest income of $102. Now that's 2 months. That's November and December because when I do monthly reporting, I cut it off a couple days early before the end of the month. So I don't always I don't get the interest till the following month, but December I caught everything up. We got a quarter Kroger rewards check, $65. We got Tomato Festival. We sold some cookbooks at the wreath class, and then the wreath class itself, we took in $3,800, which is a really, really good day's work and a lot of great effort by Elizabeth and everybody else that worked it. So basically, we received right at $5,000. We had December is a big month for us. So going down on expenses, okay, perfect. Okay, we gave Prosser $500. Basically, it's $100 a month for every month we use Prosser. So we're not obligated to, but we historically have done that. So that went out. The holiday dinner, since things were a little different and Prosser couldn't cater it, and it was more of a pitch-in situation, and SMG covered uh, the meat, covered some door prizes like that, so that was $460. The newsletters, that's a quarterly bill we pay back to Purdue for mailing out the newsletters and copying them. There's a negative expense. It's a small one, but a tech website is $17 negative. We had a stale check outstanding for almost 2 years, so I wrote that off. So it made negative expense on that. Program expenses, $81. Actually, we paid out more than that, but there was some stale checks that I wrote off, so it knocked that down quite a bit. We bought the plant tags for the projects. We got that towards the end of last month, so that was $685 all in. So they'll be ready to hand out to all the projects for 2026. The Bluebird Trail had a $470 expense. Seed Saver had some copying charges. Youth Master Gardner, some of their expenses came in earlier, but this is the biggest chunk of expenses, almost $1,200. Uh, a new line item is Venmo processing charges. At the Wreath class, we got registered with Venmo, which is not an easy thing to do for a nonprofit, but we did. And we collected over $1,000 of proceeds through Venmo. It works like very much like Zelle, except Venmo has a small processing charge, and being that we're a nonprofit, it's even smaller. So that was $22 expense to collect a little bit over $1,000 of revenue at the wreath class. And the wreath class itself wrote off a stale check that was sitting out there for $250 deposit for the damage deposit from a year ago. So the expenses all netted out, and we had a negative expense on wreath class. So expenses for last month were $3,400, and then year end we ended up with $29,400. So we had a good year. So if any questions, I'll take them now. If anybody has questions later, they can email me. If anybody wants a copy of the reports, send me an email and I'll send them to you. So anything else tonight?
Well, I just want to make one comment, Mike, that you've done a great job of putting together Zelle. Zelle is a form of payment that a lot of the younger people use. And so I
Well,
think,
Zelle was in place. I put the
oh, I'm
Venmo.
sorry.
Yeah,
I meant to say
yeah.
I meant to say Venmo. Thank you. So yeah, so it really is going to help us, I think, moving forward at Pollinator Day, because it's something that's in place now. We can use at all of our events.
Yeah, a Pollinator Day, Tomato Festival, different things like that. So the wreath class was that was the maiden voyage, and at the point of contact, it worked real well. Linda Best and I took care of the money, and it worked real well. We didn't have problems with it. Um, there's some learning curves and things to work out on the backside of it, but I think we're through all that. One other thing I want to bring up, those of you that have projects going and got your budget forms, get them back into Veronica next week. We're working on the budget for 26 and want to get it out and get it finished and get it timely. So, yeah, I think it's due the 15th of this month. So get them in and get them on time. And that's all I got to say.
Well, someone just asked, can they pay their membership dues that way?
Zell,
Yeah.
yeah, it's not easy to do unless you're at a retail point of contact, but we can try to work it through. Yeah.
They're asking about Venmo.
Venmo,
For
yeah.
their dues.
Venmo or Zelle, you can pay. Yeah.
Because we
And
got the QR code, correct?
we got the QR code, and there's a little bit circuitous way to get around it by keying in some stuff, but yeah, there's ways to do it without the QR code. QR code is definitely the easiest.
Is there, and I'm just talking off the top of my head, is there a way we can put the QR code on the website somehow? Or is that not something we want to do?
It's okay with me I guess we can talk about it at the board meeting, but
We'll talk about it.
don't really see a downside to it.
Okay.
Judy from Hammersmith, Judy Wilson, I'm assuming from the Hammersmith, said she has not received her form.
That would go to the vice president.
Now
Yeah.
that's, yeah, Vice President Veronica.
I believe Veronica and Connie or Connie sent it out to everyone.
Yeah, Connie
Anyway.
sent it out, and I can look and see if I got anything back from Hammersmith yet or not.
Yeah.
It's available on the web. It's right there.
And it's under forms, right,
Right.
Mike?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is the question whether Hammersmith has sent it or they have not received the
She
form?
says she has not received her form.
Right. So I guess Veronica, or Connie, you can check to see if you guys included her, and if not, you can just go ahead and go on our website and get it that way. It might be the easiest way to do that.
Okay, because I can't tell who asked the question.
Yeah, was it
Judy
Judy?
Wilson from Hammersmith.
Yeah, so Judy, yeah,
I think it's Judy Wilson. It's Judy from the Hammersmith project. So I'm
right,
pretty
so
sure
she
it's
can go
Judy
on the
Wilson.
website. She can go on the website and get the form that way.
Yeah,
Sorry if you got missed.
And Kara's asking, do you know the Venmo username?
I'll look it up and distribute it back. I do have one, yeah. So I've got one and I can get that out there.
Connie Smith replied that Judy should have received the form. She was included. She should check her spam.
Great idea. Okay, any other questions for Mike or thoughts? Okay, Mike, you're good to go then.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for everything you're doing. Next one on the list, Lisa, is you, Lisa, for refreshments.
So, as you all know, Master Gardener training class starts on Thursday. We're having an afternoon class 1 to 4 and an evening class 6 to 9. I do need some folks, especially starting in February or late January, to step up and, if you would, volunteer, send some snacks. You can just send me an email and outside of the meeting, and I'll set you a date or dates. Sweet or savories. We do have a few allergies, but I'll let you know when you volunteer what not to send.
Beautiful, thank you.
That's it. Thank you.
Diane, next on the list is you for the Tomato Festival.
Happy New Year, everybody. Just to remind you, we have the Tomato Festival on August 16th, 2026 from 11 to 2. Make sure it's on your calendar. And as always, we need the Sunnyside Master Gardener Village to make this an excellent tomato festival again. And then one of the reasons I'm talking to you tonight is because I know you're planning your garden already, or you probably already have it planned, but don't forget the Tomato Festival. And we are again having a taste testing booth. So if you have some space available to start seeds, tomato seeds, to grow tomatoes for the tomato tasting booth, that would be great. Let me know. Or if you have extra room in your garden to grow some of the 12 different varieties of tomatoes that we're selecting, again, let me know that you have space in your garden. We're going to have cherries, slicers, paste, container, and snackers, or they're basically a little bit bigger than the cherries and smaller than the slicers. And let's see. Oh, and don't forget about the produce booth at the Tomato Festival. So, added extra, plants in order to help support the produce booth, because we really appreciate all the produce everybody has donated. It's been wonderful. One of our major moneymakers for the Sunnyside Master Gardener projects. And of course, if you've got gardening items that you no longer need, we have the garden goods booth. If you've got those pesky Christmas gifts that you don't know why somebody gave you that gardening gift, this is a good place to, pass it along to, again, raise money for the Sunnyside Master Gardener projects. And let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.
Okay, any questions for Diane at this time? Crickets. Okay, so one of the final things we have then is the board did review our policies and procedures. There were two changes that we noted, which we do need to change, and we will vote on in February, because I neglected to send out something to notify you guys earlier per the policies and procedures. So the first one, this is your notification, was the scholarship information. We basically just updated the date of sending the information to the schools, so they're aware that we do have a scholarship available, and we also changed the deadline for submission by the students. So that was a change in there. The second change, which we'd like to make, is since we are getting rid of the PO box and now using the Purdue address, we needed to make that change in the policies and procedures as well. So this is your notification on that, and we will vote on that at the February meeting. And I'll put that on the agenda for February. Other than that, our next meeting will be February 3rd at 6:30. And that will also be by Zoom only. It appears that everybody was able to get in based on the link on the agenda. There were a couple that did have some issues. Lisa, thank you so much for funneling those issues and hopefully helping those people out so they could attend the meeting. I don't know why people have issues. It could just be internet or something on their end. I'm really not sure, because I got in no problem, and I even used my cell phone today just to give that a try, and I got in really easily. Then Debbie, since you are the new secretary, you are at this time need to let us know how much education hours we're going to put in, as well as volunteer hours for this meeting.
We have 15 minutes for the business meeting, but the presentation was exactly 37 minutes. So I don't know if you want to go to 45 or go to 30.
So yeah, 0.25 for volunteer hours is what I'm seeing in the chat. And then for 37, do we just put 0.5, I'm assuming, for the presentation? Because it was basically a half an hour.
I'm going to let you call that. Are you saying
No, right?
it's either
Okay.
a half hour or it's 45 minutes?
Yeah. Okay.
It would be a half an hour
Okay.
to 0.5.
Thanks, Gina. Thanks for keeping us honest.
Got it.
All right. So does anybody have anything else before we close out this meeting and we adjourn? I guess not. Okay. So again, crickets. So I'm call a motion for us to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Second, Veronica.
So for Debbie, for you, it was Lisa. Okay, so all of those in favor, hit your thumbs up button. Boy, look at all those little thumbs up. Okay, all right. All those opposed, I guess a thumbs down. I don't even know is there a thumbs down? All right, so it looks like the meeting is adjourned. Everyone stay healthy. Look forward to seeing and or hearing from you in February, and enjoy the warmer days we're being so blessed with. Thank you so much.